What's up? This is All From the Phone, and guys, today got a quick little video for you. This is a Celica GTS. This is my car for the moment. Yeah. Yep. Guys, if you haven't already noticed, Corolla's getting a new trans and a new clutch. Last Friday, I had a clutch issue in the Corolla to the point where I couldn't drive it, and it was making a horrible, like, I thought my engine was blown, honestly. But I got the trans off, and I found out that it wasn't my engine that was blown. It was just horrible parts. Guys, this is what happens when you purchase cheap parts. This is a cheap pressure plate. It literally broke off a chunk of metal. When I took the pressure plate off, I had all the bolts off except for one, and it came off. And this piece of the pressure plate stayed on my flywheel. Yeah. So, talk about a pain in the butt. Anyways, so I got the car towed over here, got everything off, praying that it wasn't a blown motor. And thankfully it wasn't. The motor's fine. It's just that. Luckily, man, when I had my clutch put in, I had put the foot ends and flywheel, and they have a interchangeable face, and I had purchased the interchangeable face from my last clutch install, so I had an extra one laying around. Not a clutch face, but the flywheel face. And yeah, I replaced it. It's very easy. You just pretty much those are standard size bolts. Forgot what bolt size it is, honestly, guys, but they're standard size bolts. It's pretty much the one that's equivalent to a 10 or an 11 millimeter bolt. I just don't know off the top of my head. And you just hold one side with a screwdriver and use your favorite tool to take that nut off, and it comes right off. A little tedious because there's like a bunch of them. When you are ordering these face plates, make sure you count how many holes you have, because it does matter. They sent me the wrong one, and I have it over here. I have an extra one, but they sent me the wrong one. So just make sure they send you the correct face plate. So yeah, I immediately had to purchase some stuff, unwillingly or unwantingly, however you say it. But I got this clutch. It's called Luke clutch or Luck clutch. I read about them. They seem to be pretty good clutches. A lot of people have good reviews on them. It's a German company, but their clutches are made out of Africa, South Africa. They just have a plant in South Africa, but it's a German company. The clutch looks pretty dope, man. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. It's just a factory replacement, really. It's like a stage 1 clutch. Nothing too crazy, nothing too serious, but enough to have fun. But the clutch kit comes with, I don't know, everything you need. But anyways, that's not why I'm making this video. But I'm just telling you guys about this stuff. So, damage. You already saw that pressure plate. Check out my bell housing. Got all screwed up because of that one bolt letting loose. And then honestly, it wasn't that they were over tight, or I torqued them all down to spec. And you know, I do beat on my car. I mean, I do get on it. So it's just, I guess the metal that they use for that pressure plate couldn't handle the abuse that I was throwing at it. So I've never had that happen to me with any other type of clutch. I've purchased cheap clutches before, and I've had clutch discs separate, but never a pressure plate failure like that. Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is, man. I am not going to put this transmission back into the Corolla. This is the same transmission that has third messed up anyways. So, what I started this video off with, the donor car. I do not, and I will repeat this, I do not want to take this transmission out of this car. If I didn't have a family, I would just rock this. It's beat up, it's old, but I think I'm going to make a video on the differences between the 2ZZ and the Celica, and the difference, the difference between this 2ZZ and the Celica and in the Corolla, because there is a difference. So I'm going to leave that for another video, but this is going to be the donor car, guys. I'm going to be taking some stuff off of this car to put in the Corolla. Now, some of you might be asking, does the transmission completely bolt on? The bell housing does. The bell housing goes on, no problem, no issues. The only difference in the two is this is what they call the shift shaft. I know it sounds hilarious, right? The shift shaft. So this mechanism on top of the transmission, so you can see where it is equivalent to the bell housing. On the Celica, normally this mechanism of shifting the vehicle is going to be on this side, bolted down here, here, and these bolts over here. So like you're going to see the shift mechanism on a Celica over here. On the Corolla, it's on this side, just because they shifted. The car is pretty much a different model car, so they need the shift cables to come up on this side. So pretty much on the Celica, there's a cap that's on this side with 4 bolts where this shift mechanism goes. And then on this side, the shaft comes out and there's a piece over here that comes onto here, and then the shift linkage and everything is on this side. So what I have to do is take from my Corolla this shift shaft, and I will show you how to do that. It's very, very simple. I already took it apart. Honestly didn't know how. Sorry, give me a second. I honestly didn't know how easy or hard this was going to be. I didn't know if I was going to have to take off or crack open the transmission. But it's very simple, guys. There's 4 14mm bolts here. One here, here, one here, one here on the other side. And then this is pretty much for your reverse. It's 2 14mm bolts. Let me see if I can spin this around so you guys can see it. Probably better this way anyway. Okay. So it's sitting like that, okay? And then you see this squared off piece right here. If you look underneath here, it just goes right into that little crevice right there. And I'll show you what it looks like inside. So when you take this apart, it kind of comes apart. And you're like, wait, where the heck did that go? But it goes something like this. I'm trying to get it to go there. But anyways, you get the idea. It goes into that crevice right there. So you take these 2 12mm bolts out. This is going to come sliding out. And then you take these 4 12mm bolts. These 4 14mm bolts. These are all 14mm bolts. Take those out. And this is going to be like this. It's going to be in there. Okay? Like that. It's going to be in. And you're going to be like, okay, I took all the bolts out. Why is it not coming out? You have to back this 24mm bolt out. It's pretty much the lock for the shift mechanism. And then you'll just see this go and pop out this way. So once you have that out, it just comes straight out. See? And make sure that the car is in neutral when you're taking this out, because it has to be in neutral. If you see inside how they align, that means it's in neutral. I'm just having it in there for safekeeping because I'm going to have to take it out and put it in the Celica trans. But I just don't want it laying around anywhere. But anyways, guys. Yeah, so if you didn't know that the Celica trans just doesn't bolt up, now you know. So you're going to have to do that. But yeah, guys, so the only bad part about this, guys, is I can't put this transmission back in the Celica. Unless... Because if you see on the back side of this, the Celica has a hole that's right here that the shift linkage is connected to the end of the shaft on this side for the Celica. So if I want this car to work with the Celica, I'm gonna have to drill a hole here, and I don't know if I want to go through all that, but I'm planning on keeping the Celica. I do not want to get rid of it because the week that I've been driving, I've never owned a Celica. I've never owned anything other than the Corolla XRS. So I honestly didn't know how fun they were until I actually drove one. If you've never driven a 6-speed GTS, do so. One that's in decent condition, because there's some that are ragged out. But this one was pretty much babied. And what I mean by babied is that they didn't, you know... Let's just put it this way. My boy that owned it didn't even know lift existed in this car. So it never really even saw lift when he was driving it. And he's owned it since like 2006, maybe 2008, something like that. So this car has pretty much been driven around all the time, not even hitting lift once. So it needs paint. It needs a lot of stuff, honestly. It needs paint. It needs headlights. It needs... The interior's all jacked up. It's dirty. He never friggin' washed it. Jose, if you're watching this video. But the passenger seat's pretty dope. It's pretty clean. As you can see, the driver's side is pretty beat up, but it had leather interior. I mean, it still has leather interior, but if you can see, the steering wheel is all jacked up as well. The back seats aren't bad. I don't know if you can see there. Let me see. The back seats aren't bad at all. You see? But it does have a sunroof. This is the 2000 model GTS. And guys, I did not know, but this 2000 model GTS ran a 15 flat at like 94. I even saw some guys saying, and there's some car magazines that got it down to the 14.7s, bone stock. And I looked that up because when I drove it, I was like, whoa, this thing's pretty quick for being bone stock. So I looked it up, and yeah, the fastest Celica that they ever made was, well, with the 2ZZ in it, was the 2000 Toyota Celica. The very first year they came out in this body style with the 2ZZ. The other ones just got a little heavier, so they got slower. And same thing with the Corolla. The 05 is the fastest. This is an 06, but the 06 has less horsepower, like 3 less horsepower than the 05s. But I think they're the same thing. I had both of them, and they both felt pretty much the same. But I will say that the 2ZZ in the Celica is pretty cool. Anyways, I'll leave that for another video to compare the two. So yeah, so this is going to be the donor car. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to have to buy a new transmission for it or something, but I want to keep the car. It's pretty fun. So that's pretty much it, guys, for today. You know, I started doing a how-to on this. I think I'm going to do a how-to for the actual clutch. I'm not sure yet, guys. Like, it's a lot of work, and I need to get this done quickly because I am a family man, and this is the only four-door car that I have. and I need to help my wife pick up the kids, so I need to finish this ASAP, so that's why I didn't record it. I did record some stuff, but it was taking too much time recording and doing the work, so I just wanted to record some of this stuff so that you know that you can use a Celica GTS trans. You just have to do the shifter shaft replacement. So you replace the shifter shaft from the Corolla to the Celica GTS trans. So yeah. So like I said, just to recap, you're going to have this with a cap on the Celica GTS. There's going to be like a cap with 4 bolts this is going to replace. So yeah guys, so that's what's up with the Corolla right now. Thought I blew my motor, but I didn't. Guys, the motor on this car is actually pretty resilient. Like I said, in like every single one of my videos almost up to this point from like 3 months ago, the transmission is the weakest point in this car. The weakest link, by far, transmission. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I hope this was somewhat informative. So let's just kind of review, because it's a lot. Don't buy cheap stuff. Don't buy a cheap clutch. Even if it's like a AutoZone type deal, make sure it's like a decent quality AutoZone type deal. But try to stay away from eBay, guys. This is eBay. Like the specific brand, I will say it. It's what was it called? Competition Clutch, or like, but like the Bobo version of Competition Clutch, I think. It's like Comp Clutch Inc. or some crap like that. Like you'll see it on eBay. Stay away from it. So yeah, lessons learned. But check out what I did to the starter too. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happens when you buy cheap parts. But anyways, guys, I hope this video was informative. I know it's a lot of stuff in it, and I'm kind of everywhere, but it is what it is. It's been a long day. I'm hot. It's hot in Florida. Can't get my thoughts together. It was a lot of information, but there you go. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, one thing I forgot to mention before I ended the video, but the Celica GTS, I don't know if you remember me telling you, but I said that there was a hole on the backside of this shifter shaft assembly. So on the Corolla, there's nothing there, pretty much. So on the Celica, like I said, there's a cap that's on this side. So it's like pretty much nothing going on this side, just the cap with the 4 bolts. And then on this side is where all the action's at. There's a hole, something comes out and goes onto like pretty much the bracket that holds the shifter parts so that you can shift the car and connect the shifter cable to. When I put this where the cap goes on the Celica GTS, there's going to be an open hole here. So Monkey Wrench Racing, I called them out and I asked what needs to be done. They said that they have a cap that you can put on the end of it to cover the hole. It's pretty much, like, I looked it up, it's pretty much just a freeze plug. Like, that's what it is, like a brass freeze plug. Not, it could either be brass, steel, whatever it is, but it's a 1-inch plug that goes in there. And when I get the Celica transmission and I put all this together, I'm going to make another video and I will show you the install of the shifter shaft assembly on the Celica so that you guys can see what it looks like. All right, and you guys will probably get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to mention that before I end this video, and I hope you guys like the information. Peace out.